Give them strength to be men and women of integrity and compassion in order to be leaders in a way that is redemptive and capable wherever they are called to serve. Grant each graduate wisdom to apply themselves to the challenges that lie ahead. May they rise to every occasion to lead with professionalism and honor. As we honor their achievements today, we ask that you guide our future leaders in the decisions they must make as supervisors. In your name we pray, amen. Thank you. Please be seated. The students would now like to present a short video to commemorate their ALS experience. Thank you, students, for that video. Appreciate that. It's now my honor to introduce Class 20-5's Senior Advisor and today's guest speaker. Class 20-5 Senior Advisor is the Squadron Superintendent for the 2nd Operations Support Squadron and the Base Functional Manager for the Aviation Resource Management Career Field at Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. She leads and mentors 250 enlisted officers and civilian personnel across 29 specialties and serves as the principal senior enlisted leader and advisor to the commander on all matters influencing health, morale, readiness, professional development, training, quality of life, and effective utilization of assigned personnel. She is also responsible for the career development, manning, and training of 36 aviation resource management personnel across 4 major commands. She is the advisor to 9 commanders and oversees the base aviation management operations for over 730 local and geographically separated aircrew members, as well as the $425,000 base aviation incentive pay program. Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Master Sergeant Latoya Cleveland.
All right. Good afternoon, leaders.
Good afternoon.
All right, so, hey, it's a pretty big day, huh? All right, so here we are, the last day of your ALS experience. And the only thing that's keeping you guys from graduating is me and my boring speech, right? So we'll get through this. So I know you guys are excited and to be done and ready to go out there and get after it. So I'll try not to keep it too long, but I wanted to take a few moments to share some things from my lessons learned list that I think will hopefully add value to you guys as you go on through your leadership journey. But before I do that, I want to thank Senior Master Sergeant McKinney, my boss, Lieutenant Colonel Reinhardt, the Operations Group, Mission Support Group, and the Wing Leadership for allowing me to have the opportunity to serve as your class mentor, or class advisor, excuse me. I know this position is typically reserved for chiefs, and so to be amongst the group of seniors selected to serve in this position has definitely been humbling and an honor. So thank you all, because I didn't take it lightly, so this responsibility was really important to me, so thank you all for that. I would also like to thank our ALS instructors. So for you all, I appreciate your remarkable effort in growing our frontline supervisors. And I know that this job requires a lot of you and your family, so the fact that you volunteered to take on this challenge, to do this task, not only speaks volumes of who you are as leaders, but as humans as well, so thank you all for that. All right, Class 20-5. So, in trying to decide what my message would be to you all this afternoon, I went back and recalled our conversations and the obvious next phase of life as leaders for you all as well. So I wanted to craft this message around your approach to fear, because as leaders, there will be times when you're faced with moments of fear. And so the question will be, what are you going to do when that shows up? So first, I want to give a definition of fear. So fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or a threat. So this definition is the typical thought that enters anyone's mind when they hear the word fear. But instead, I wanted to focus on a subsequent definition, which is a verb aspect. So from the verb standpoint, fear is to feel apprehensive or uneasy. Some of the synonyms for that are nervousness, uncertainty, and worry. So as you guys prepare to embark on the next level of your leadership journey, some of you have expressed that version of fear is present within you. And so it's like the feeling of, will I be effective? Or, man, I hope I get this right. Or, how can I get my team's buy-in, right? So essentially, that is the verbal feeling of that point fear, but the visual might look a little something like this. Hopefully I can get this to work. Alright, so I will submit to you guys that this form of fear shows up in just about every leader who was going and stepping into a new position, regardless of the level of leadership that they're in, and that's even to include myself. And so if you come across somebody who tells you anything different, for me, I probably would show them the expression like this. So, because for them, it's unconsciously, like subconsciously, they're in denial. So don't judge them, just kind of love them through that moment and just ask for transparency and continue to go forward. But in all seriousness though, leadership and fear have an ongoing relationship. And so how do we condition ourselves to be able to address that fear? So for me, I believe it comes down to perspective. And man, I'll tell you guys, perspective is a powerful thing, because how you choose to think about things can truly change the trajectory of your life. So as you all know, I love quotes and chants, right? But because they motivate me and they help me to keep my perspective aligned with my goals. And so I'll share with you one of my favorite quotes on perspective. So this one is by Dr. Wayne Dyer, and it simply says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. So now when we consider the word fear, we have a choice. We can choose to allow it to maintain its negative connotation, or we can choose to change our perspective along with its meaning. So fear can mean one of two things. It can mean forget everything and run, or it can mean face everything and rise. So obviously, being a leader in the military, the only time you should be running when you're faced with fear is when you're in danger, right? But if you're at your desk and you get up and run because you're afraid of an email or because you plugged in the wrong number in an Excel document, like that's a whole nother level of consideration we need to have for you. And so, we'll address that point or that piece at a different manner. But for right now in the moment, what does this level of fear, the forget everything and run, what does that look like? So I'll borrow an instance from one of your classmates. So this level of fear, the forget everything and run, essentially would look like a reblued airman who is completed with ALS and they go back into their flight and they try to apply what they learned. But then you have other leaders in that section who mock that airman because they themselves are just meeting the standards as leaders. But the pressure of that on that airman now causes them to fall back and fall in line with everybody else. And so now the tech school grad that they supervise essentially loses out on a supervisor who could have been an excellent leader because of the pressure of everyone else. So in that instance, that airman forgot about their core values. They forgot about integrity first, and service before self, and excellence in all that they do. They forgot about their responsibilities listed in the enlisted force structure. But you know what? That's not you all. Because you understand how critical your role is as a frontline supervisor. You guys understand that your airmen will associate their experience and their perspective of the Air Force with how well you invest in them and how well you lead them, or lack thereof. You guys understand that your ability to retain first-turn airmen are partially dependent upon how much, again, you invest in them. Because people don't quit jobs, they quit their leaders. So in that, I challenge you all to face the adversity and rise to the occasion. When you get to a point where you're trying to figure out what do I do with this airman and how do I make it so that way I can connect with them, get to know them, dig into their lives, show them that you genuinely care about them. If you don't like playing video games, guess what? You need to find a way to like it. Meet them where they are and develop a relationship so that way you guys can have a foundation to build on. Rise to the occasion. When you get to the point when you encounter that tough conversation and you're afraid to have it because you're unsure of what direction it's going to go in, find you a mentor, take a step back and evaluate the situation. Prepare yourself and use the available resources, but rise to the occasion to have the conversation because it's going to matter. When you get to the point where you have to make a tough decision and it may not be the favorable one, but it's the right one, understand leadership is not likership. Rise to the occasion. And be mindful that as leaders, you are required to stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone because it's necessary in order to be that leader that possesses the quality that you said you wanted to see in a leader. You all have the goods. Every one of you in here has what it takes to be an effective and a successful leader. So own it. And also, notice one thing too. How you choose to show up after today is imperative. Because somebody, somewhere, is waiting for you to be the person that you were called to be. So with that, I'll wrap it up with this final thought regarding perspective. So on week 1, I taught you guys a chant, and its purpose was to serve as a motivator as you guys went through the course. But I purposely didn't break it down because I wanted for us to understand the meaning of it in its context on this particular day. So hopefully in the future, because you guys understand it, you'll use it as a motivator going forward in your leadership journey. So the first part, nothing is difficult, everything is a challenge. So the word difficult means hard, right? So when you tell yourself something is hard, it's demotivating, and you're more apt to easily give up on it, right? But if you flip it and you look at the word challenge, right? So challenge means a call to engage in a contest or skill or strength. So since contests are exciting, your perspective is modified, and you're more apt to give your all because of the fact that it has a more positive connotation to it. So people tend to be more motivated when they're challenged because they have something to prove, right? So in this next part, through adversity into the stars. So as leaders, we will go through adversity, but if we buckle down, stay the course, lead by example and with excellence, when we get through it and reflect, our lessons learned will be invaluable. And then, from the last minute to the last second to the last airman, we will show up as leaders who are force multipliers and change the narrative because what we do will matter. So, it has been an absolute honor and a privilege to serve alongside you and to be your senior advisor for this class. And I will do this for the last time, so class 20-5.
It's a challenge!
Through adversity!
To the stars!
From the last minute to the last second to the last airman, we lead!
We lead!
We lead!
We lead!
We lead!
We lead!
All right, guys. Congratulations.
Cleveland. Class 20-5 present you with this plaque commemorating your personalized legacy brick at the Enlisted Heritage Hall at Barksdale Air Force Base, Gunter Annex. The certificate reads, "This is to certify that a commemorative brick paver honoring you has been placed in the Enlisted Heritage Hall Plaza at Barksdale Air Force Base, Gunter Annex, Alabama. This action symbolizes the respect and admiration that you have earned and is a token reflecting the highest traditions of the U.S. Air Force."
Thank you, guys. Sure. Thank you.
We have now reached the part of our program where we honor those students who have earned special recognition. While all the graduates take pride in meeting the rigorous demands of Airman Leadership School, some students have distinguished themselves through individual accomplishments, and they are deserving of special recognition. The first award is the Academic Achievement Award. This award is sponsored by the Barksdale Top 3 and is presented to the student with the highest academic standing in all performance task assessments. The Academic Award recipient for Class 20-5 is, from the 2nd Logistics Readiness Squadron, Staff Sergeant Ashteen Macabeo. The next award is the Commandants Award. The Commandants Award is sponsored by the First Sergeant's Council and is presented to the student who made a significant contribution to the overall success of the class. This student displayed the traits of an effective leader as well as the traits of an effective follower in a team environment. The recipient of the Commandants Award for Class 20-5 is, from the 2nd Logistics Readiness Squadron, Staff Sergeant Ashteen Macabeo. One of the most coveted awards in our enlisted professional military education is the Distinguished Graduate Award. This award is sponsored by the Air Force Sergeants Association, Chapter 615, and the students earning this award are truly leaders in every sense of the word. This award recognizes academic and leadership achievements and the accomplishments of these students placed them in the top 10% of their class. The distinguished graduates for Class 20-5 are from the 608th Air Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Jerry Quinn, Jr. Chuck Quinn. And from the Psych and Logistics Readiness Squadron, Staff Sergeant Ashton McAvey. The final and most prestigious award that can be earned by a graduate at any level of enlisted professional military education is the John L. Levito Award. The Levito Award is sponsored by the Barksdale Chiefs Group. Airman First Class John L. Levito received the Medal of Honor in recognition for his acts of bravery. His acts saved the lives of his air crew and prevented the destruction of their aircraft while flying over South Vietnam on 24 February 1969. As with Airman Levito, a true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. There can only be one John L. Levito Award recipient for each class. This is the highest honor presented to the graduate who epitomizes the individual for whom the award was named. The John L. Levito Award recipient for Class 20-5 is from the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Jose Barrera.
Thanks everyone, I did not expect this. I'm pretty grateful for all this, and I'm pretty firm in believing that our environments really bring out either the best in us or could bring out the worst in us too. Throughout these past 5 weeks, I've been privileged to be with my class, our instructors, and the class of 20-5, and I hope that we could take the lessons we learned these past weeks and apply them not only to create an environment that could bring out the best of us personally, but could bring out the best in others, either in our lives or in our shops or whatever. So again, thank you so much. I really wasn't expecting, I'm shaking right now, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Cool. Award winners, back to the stage for a picture, please. All of our award recipients will be presented. All of our award recipients will be presented with a Team 5-6 coin and a gift package from A Feast. Here, I'll come in the center here. It is now time for the presentation of the diplomas. The graduation diploma represents 5 weeks of hard work, dedication, sacrifice, and teamwork. These graduates have proven themselves as leaders and can stand proud of their outstanding achievements. They are equipped with the knowledge and drive to lead your airmen into the future. In addition to the graduation diploma, each student has received their first PME ribbon and an Airman Leadership School coin. Each student will be presented their diploma by their instructor. Introducing first is Alpha Flight along with their instructor, Technical Sergeant Smith. The class leader, From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Antonio Lorenas.
Yeah.
Next is the Flight Leader. From the 2nd Logistics Readiness Squadron, Staff Sergeant Ashteen Macabeo. From the 2nd Munitions Squadron, Senior Airman Elliot Favreau. From the 2nd Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Edward Jackson III. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Jerome Lowe, Jr. From the 2nd Operations Support Squadron, Senior Airman Zachary Nicholson. And from the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Dylan Schaefer. Next is Bravo Flight, along with their instructor, Staff Sergeant Martin. First from Bravo Flight is the Flight Leader. From the 2nd Logistics Readiness Squadron, Staff Sergeant Caleb Sims. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Brian Ox, Jr. From the 2nd Operations Support Squadron, Staff Sergeant Robert Danner II. From the 2nd Operations Support Squadron, Staff Sergeant Lucas Graham. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Johnny King, Jr. From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Jalen Milliken. From the 2nd Munitions Squadron, Staff Sergeant Amanda Pizzagna. And from the 2nd Maintenance Group, Senior Airman Ray Sampson. Next is Charlie Flight, and unfortunately their instructor, Master Sergeant Coffey, is unable to be here. First from Charlie Flight is the Flight Leader. From the 2nd Logistics Readiness Squadron, Staff Sergeant Erica Simon. She smiles. From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Jose Barrera. From the 2nd Munitions Squadron, Staff Sergeant Francis Fernandez. From Detachment 10, Air Force Installation and Mission Support Center, Senior Airman Alex Hicks. From the 2nd Operations Support Squadron, Senior Airman Ryan Simmons. From the 2nd Operations Support Squadron, Senior Airman Evan Tucker. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Chase Wiggins. And from the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman JaMichael Wiley. Last is Delta Flight, along with their instructor, Technical Sergeant Zick. First from Delta Flight is the Flight Leader. From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Kyle Thompson. From the 2nd Munitions Squadron, Staff Sergeant Christian Carbonell. From the 2nd Munitions Squadron, Senior Airman Timothy Hinsey. From the 2nd Logistics Readiness Squadron, Senior Airman Brandon McCann. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Noel Pudente. From the 608th Air Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Jerry Quinn Jr. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Hunter Vincent. And from the 2nd Operations Support Squadron, Staff Sergeant Tahiti Westberg. Thank you, Senior Master Sergeant Cleveland. Please join me for one more round of applause for all of our graduates. Staff Sergeant Lorenas, on you.
I am an American airman. I am a warrior. I have answered my nation's call. I am an American airman. My mission is to fly, fight, and win. I am faithful to a proud heritage, a tradition of honor, and a legacy of valor. I am an American airman, guardian of freedom and justice, my nation's sword and shield, its sentry and avenger. I defend my country with my life. I am an American airman, wingman, leader, warrior. I will never leave an airman behind. I will never falter, and I will not fail.
Enter to learn!
Lead to lead!
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Barksdale's newest Airman Leadership School graduates. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for our graduation ceremony. We will conclude our ceremony with the singing of the Air Force song.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high.